The 31st of December 2023. The Red Sea. The Maersk Hangzhou is sailing quietly through the dark when its radar suddenly fills with unidentified boats rushing in from the Yemeni coast. An RPG hits the hull, flames erupt, and moments later, the sky lights up with incoming drones, cruise missiles, and ballistic missiles.
Our Pentagon team has been able to confirm from two defense officials that the USS Carney destroyed a Houthi drone today.
The ship calls out, "Mayday, under attack." 30 nautical miles away, 3 U.S. Navy destroyers receive the distress call, and what follows becomes the largest naval defensive battle in the Red Sea in decades. The calm before the storm. 12 hours earlier, on the morning of December 31st, 2023, the Maersk Hangzhou was just another routine commercial vessel. It was Liberian-flagged, operated by Danish shipping giant Maersk, carrying 22 crew members and containers loaded in China and bound for Turkey. Its route required passing through the Red Sea, a shipping lane so vital that nearly 30% of global container traffic depends on it. But December was no longer normal. The Houthis, an Iranian-backed rebel group controlling northern Yemen, had spent weeks attacking commercial vessels under the claim of targeting Israeli-linked shipping. In reality, they were hitting anything in range. Only days earlier, U.S. Navy fighters shot down a Houthi attack drone, the first combat use of the AIM-9X Block II Sidewinder after it threatened merchant ships. Instead of backing down, the Houthis began preparing something larger. The Houthi War Room, that same day, in Hodeidah, inside a command center hidden among civilian structures. Houthi commanders finalized plans for a coordinated strike. Their arsenal included small boats loaded with RPGs, AK-47S, and M60 machine guns, along with Shahed, 136 kamikaze drones, anti-ship cruise missiles, and anti-ship ballistic missiles. Their strategy was a multi-axis swarm attack. Strike from the sea with armed boats, from the air with drones, and from long range with missiles, overwhelming any possible defense. And they chose their moment carefully. New Year's Eve. Maximum symbolism, maximum chaos. First contact. 10:14 p.m. The radar operator on the Maersk Hangzhou sees the threat first. 4 small vessels, 15 nautical miles out, moving fast and closing directly on their course. Captain Harris grabs the radio and calls out, "Unidentified vessels, this is Maersk Hangzhou. State your intentions." Only static answers back. He tries again. Nothing. Then a burst of angry Arabic crackles through the speaker, voices shouting commands. Harris knows exactly what that means. He switches to the emergency frequency. "Any coalition vessels? This is Maersk Hangzhou. We have unidentified contacts approaching." The first RPG arrives before he can finish. It streaks across the water and slams into the starboard hull, exploding inside a storage compartment. Fire erupts instantly. Alarms scream. Smoke floods the passageways. 2 more RPGs hit within seconds. One blasts into the bridge, shattering every window and sending glass across the consoles. Another detonates near the engine room, the shockwave vibrating through the steel decks. Now the attackers are visible. 4 fast boats, slicing through the dark, gunmen firing from the bow. Tracers slam into the hull and containers. Bullets ricochet across the deck as the crew takes cover behind anything they can find. Captain Harris forces his way back to the radio. "Mayday, Mayday. We are under attack. Multiple hostilities. Request immediate assistance. The night has turned into a battlefield." The swarm appears. 30 seconds after the first RPG blast, the Maersk Hangzhou's radar operator spots something far worse. Airborne contacts. Dozens of them. Rising from the Yemeni coastline at low altitude and high speed, with no transponder signals and no communication. This isn't harassment by small boats anymore. It's a coordinated, multi-layer attack. The radar feed lights up with signatures. More than a dozen kamikaze drones closing fast, several larger shapes consistent with cruise missiles, and 2 high-arc ballistic trajectories. Anti-ship ballistic missiles dropping in from the edge of the atmosphere. Every one of them is heading straight for the Maersk Hangzhou. Captain Harris understands instantly. His ship isn't the target, it's the trigger. The Houthis are using him as bait to lure the U.S. Navy into a kill zone and test how far American defenses can be pushed. He hits the emergency frequency again, voice shaking but controlled. Any coalition forces, we have multiple aerial threats inbound. Drones, cruise missiles, and ballistic missiles. Immediate assistance required. The sky is now hostile, and the real battle is about to begin. The U.S. Navy response, 30 nautical miles away. USS Gravely, USS Laboon, and USS Mason. 3 Arleigh Burke-class destroyers patrolling under Operation Prosperity Guardian received the Maersk Hangzhou's distress call almost instantly. Within seconds, all 3 ships shift to combat stations. On the USS Gravely, the Combat Information Center snaps into motion as radar operators track the swarm and weapons officers calculate intercept paths. The captain issues the order that unleashes the full power of the U.S. Navy. Engage all inbound threats. Weapons free. Protect that merchant vessel. 200 miles north, the USS Dwight D. Eisenhower Carrier Strike Group gets the alert. 8 F-18 Super Hornets already airborne on patrol divert toward the threat zone. In the United Kingdom's Naval Operations Center, HMS Diamond, a Type 45 destroyer, positioned 40 nautical miles south, receives coordinated instructions and immediately goes to battle stations. A multinational layered defense network is now locking onto the swarm, and the attackers have no idea how fast the retaliation is coming.
The U.S. is what we are doing with our partners is...
Wave 1. Cruise missiles. The first threats to enter engagement range are the cruise missiles. They skim the surface at barely 30 feet above the water, moving at nearly 500 miles per hour, and designed to slip under radar until the final seconds. USS Laboon fires first, launching 2 SM-6 interceptors from its vertical launch system. They climb, lock on, and slam into the targets at Mach 3.5. 2 fireballs erupt 18 nautical miles from the Maersk Hangzhou. HMS Diamond tracks the remaining missiles and answers with Aster 3-0 interceptors. 2 more kills. 4 cruise missiles were eliminated. None reached the cargo ship. Wave 2. The drone swarm. Next come the drones. 12 Shahed 136 kamikaze units armed with 100-pound warheads. Low altitude. Small radar signature. Designed to overwhelm defenses by numbers alone. USS Gravely and USS Mason fire-evolved Sea Sparrow missiles, point defense interceptors, built for exactly this type of threat. Radar screens light up as hostiles vanish one after another. 8 drones were destroyed in 90 seconds. 4 remain, flying so low that the sea itself scrambles radar returns. They slip through the outer defensive perimeter, heading straight for the burning cargo ship. The Super Hornets enter the fight. This is where the F-A-18 seconds save the day. 8 Super Hornets from the USS Eisenhower reach the engagement zone. They're flying at 20,000 feet with targeting pods active. From that altitude, they can see what the ships can't. The 4 remaining drones skimming the water, heading directly for the Maersk Hangzhou. VFA 131 pilot call sign. Reaper gets the commit. He rolls inverted, pulls down into a dive, and locks onto the lead drone with an AIM-9X Sidewinder missile. The AIM-9X is a 5th-generation infrared missile. It doesn't need the target to be hot. It can lock onto the drone's tiny heat signature even against the cold ocean background. Fox 2. Reaper calls. The Sidewinder launches. 3 seconds later, the drone explodes. 3 more Hornets repeat the process. 3 more drones destroyed. All 12 Houthi drones are now debris. Wave 3. Anti-ship ballistic missiles. The most dangerous threat comes last. 2 anti-ship ballistic missiles, ASBMs. These aren't cruise missiles. These are ballistic trajectories. Launched from Yemen, they arc up into the atmosphere and then plunge down at Mach 5+. This is the first time in history that the Houthis have fired ASBMs at ships in combat. USS Mason detects the launches immediately. The SPY-1 radar tracks the missiles through their boost phase, mid-course, and terminal descent. The only weapon that can intercept a ballistic missile is the SM-3. The USS Mason fires too. The SM-3 missiles scream upward. They don't carry warheads. They're kinetic kill vehicles. They physically ram the incoming missile at combined closing speeds of Mach 10+. The first intercept happens at 80,000 feet. The SM-3 smashes into the ASBM. Both disintegrate. The second SM-3 intercepts at 60,000 feet, Another successful kill. 0 ballistic missiles reach their target. Final cleanup. While the aerial battle unfolds, the 4 small boats continue circling the Maersk Hangzhou, firing sporadically from 2 miles out. 2 MH-60R Seahawk helicopters lift off from USS Gravely and reach the scene in under 10 minutes. The crews issue warnings over loudspeakers, but the boats answer by opening fire on the helicopters with machine guns. It is the wrong decision. The Seahawks respond with door-mounted M240 machine guns and Hellfire missiles. 90 seconds later, the engagement is finished. All 4 hostile boats are destroyed. No survivors. Battle assessment. The entire engagement lasts 47 minutes from first contact to all clear. By the end, the coalition had destroyed 12 kamikaze drones, 4 cruise missiles, 2 anti-ship ballistic missiles, and 4 armed small boats. Not a single coalition vessel is hit. The Maersk Hangzhou suffers damage only from the initial RPG strikes, with 2 crew members injured but no fatalities. The ship continues toward port under escort. The counterstrike. On January 3, 2024, the Pentagon authorizes retaliatory strikes. The USS Eisenhower Carrier Strike Group launches coordinated attacks on Houthi missile sites, radar stations, drone depots, and command centers. Navy Super Hornets employ the AGM-88E AARGM for the first time in combat, homing in on radar emissions the moment Houthi operators activate their systems. The radars light up, the missiles lock on, and the sites are destroyed. Dozens of launchers and air defenses are eliminated in under 40 minutes, demonstrating precise and overwhelming American firepower. March Madness and beyond. The December 31st attack proves to be only the beginning. Over the next 3 months, Houthi attacks continue, and the coalition responds every time. The operational tempo becomes relentless. Large-scale drone interceptions, rapid strike packages, and record-breaking engagements define the new normal. In one fight, a U.S. Navy EA-18G Growler records the first air-to-air kill in its history. In another, a Super Hornet acting as a refueling tanker shoots down a drone with its onboard cannon, another first. New fighter loadouts emerge, optimized for swarms and drone defense. The USS Eisenhower Carrier Strike Group logs more than 4,000 flight hours per month, while VFA-32 alone expends over 121,000 pounds of ordnance. This is modern naval warfare. Drones, missiles, electronic dominance, and non-stop pressure, with the U.S. Navy writing the doctrine as it fights. Dawn rises over the Red Sea, and the Maersk Hangzhou sails on proof that even the biggest swarm attack in decades couldn't break the Navy's layered shield. More than 20 Houthi missiles and drones destroyed, 0 coalition losses, and a message sent across the region with absolute clarity. This battle showed that when technology, training, and coordination align, even a full-scale ambush doesn't stand a chance. If you want more breakdowns of modern military operations, hit subscribe and tell me which conflict you want covered next.